Millions of dollars of value are currently being loaded into wooden shipping crates and sealed shut by industrial machinery. These are masterpieces of human creativity, paintings you would expect to find on a museum wall, but they are headed for a very different destination. These crates are moving into massive, windowless warehouses situated directly alongside airport runways in Geneva, Luxembourg, and Singapore. These facilities serve as an offshore financial system, allowing the global elite to store billions in physical assets without ever triggering a tax bill. This system evolved from the 19th century Freeport. Originally, these were just secure storage zones for merchants moving bulk commodities. If you shipped grain or spices through Switzerland, you could store them briefly without paying customs duties, provided the goods were technically in transit. The modern explosion of these facilities was triggered by the 2008 financial crisis. As global regulators launched an aggressive crackdown on tax evasion, the traditional anonymity of Swiss bank accounts effectively evaporated. When it became too dangerous to hide cash in a bank, the ultra-wealthy shifted their capital into high-value physical objects. They moved their wealth out of digital ledgers and behind the impenetrable doors of the luxury Freeport. The man who pioneered this shift was Swiss businessman Yves Bouvier. He recognized that the in-transit customs loophole contained a massive oversight. It didn't specify exactly how long an item could remain in a warehouse before it was no longer considered temporary. Bouvier transformed the Geneva Freeport into a network of hyper-secure, climate-controlled vaults designed to store fine art indefinitely. It was no longer a transit zone for shipping. It was a permanent storage facility for the world's most expensive assets. The scale is immense. The Geneva Freeport alone currently holds an estimated 1.2 million artworks, with a total value exceeding $100 billion. By stretching a shipping loophole to its breaking point, Bouvier successfully built a parallel financial system that operates entirely outside the reach of national tax authorities and government oversight. To see how this system functions, imagine a billionaire buying a $50 million painting at an auction in London. If they bring it home to New York or London, they owe millions in sales and import taxes. Instead, they route the painting directly into a Freeport to bypass the taxman entirely. This utilizes the in-transit loophole. As long as the art stays within the Freeport's walls, it has legally never entered the country. It can sit in a climate-controlled box for decades while its value appreciates, all while the tax bill remains at zero. When the owner decides to sell the art to another billionaire, the painting never moves, only the paperwork changes hands. In a private room within the Freeport, the sellers transfer ownership of the offshore shell company that holds the painting to the new buyer. This process hides the ultimate beneficial owner. The individual collector is buried beneath layers of shell companies registered in Panama, trusts in Jersey, and corporate entities in the British Virgin Islands. The result is a ghost transaction. Millions of dollars in wealth move between parties without generating a single dollar in capital gains tax and without leaving a single public record of the sale. This total lack of transparency allows for massive price manipulation. In the Bouvier affair, Russian billionaire Dmitry Rybolovlev accused the Freeport king himself of using the market's secrecy to defraud him. Rybolovlev alleged that Bouvier acted as a middleman on 38 artworks, secretly inflating prices and overcharging him by a staggering $1 billion. Without public sales records, the buyer had no way of knowing what the art was actually worth. The consequences of this secrecy extend beyond financial fraud. The 2016 Panama Papers leak, a massive release of documents from the law firm Mossack Fonseca, exposed how these offshore structures were being used to hide stolen history. The leak revealed that a shell company owned by the Nahmad family of art dealers was holding a $25 million Modigliani masterpiece. The painting had been missing for over 80 years after being looted by the Nazis from a Jewish art dealer during the occupation of France. Similarly, a raid on a Geneva Freeport unit rented by disgraced dealer Robin Symes uncovered 45 crates containing 17,000 looted ancient artifacts. These included fragments of frescoes literally hacked off the walls of temples near Pompeii. Symes had hidden this vast collection for 15 years to keep it out of a legal settlement. When financial secrecy is absolute, the system designed to hide billionaire wealth inevitably becomes the primary shield for international crime and the hoarding of stolen human heritage. This era of unregulated storage is now facing a coordinated backlash. The European Union and the Swiss government are actively passing laws to close the Freeport loopholes that have existed since the 19th century. Governments are now demanding transparency regarding ultimate beneficial ownership. Freeport operators are being forced to maintain detailed registers that identify the real human beings behind the shell companies, bringing the facilities under the same anti-money laundering rules as traditional banks. New legislative pushes aim to place strict time limits on in-transit status. If a painting stays in a warehouse beyond a specific window, it is legally deemed to have entered the country, triggering the full weight of national taxes. Despite these efforts, the underlying nature of the art market has been altered. Regulators are now forced to treat fine art like a financial security because the global elite have already spent decades using it as one. The most significant impact of the Freeport system isn't financial, it's cultural. Masterpieces that were once considered the pinnacle of human achievement have been fully financialized, turned into tools for storing wealth in the dark. These works now function as a form of physical cryptocurrency. Their value depends entirely on them remaining hidden, untraceable, and exclusive to the ultra-wealthy. When the most significant artifacts of our history are locked away in shipping crates to facilitate offshore transactions, we lose more than just tax revenue. We have to ask what happens to a culture when its greatest treasures are no longer meant to be seen.